Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 75 of Screw the Commute podcast. We've got an old friend of mine here, Gayle Carson. And now listen, I don't want any cards and letters here, nasty cards and letters. She calls herself the spunky old broad. Okay, so you'll hear about her in a minute. I hope you didn't miss episode 74. We had the prolific John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire. I was on his show. It should be coming out there. I think it just came out a little while ago. And he was on my show. So you don't want to miss him. And quick announcement, our podcast app is now in the App Store, and you can go to iTunes and download that, and it'll do a lot of cool stuff right on your cell phone or tablet. And we'll have instructions on how to use all the cool features also at screwthecommute.com. All right, our sponsor this week is the Internet Marketing Retreat and Joint Venture Program, where myself and my staff work with you for a year to get you started in an internet business or use the internet to take your existing business to the next level. And I'll tell you more about that later. And the details are going to be at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. And we'll, of course, have that in the show notes at screwthecommute.com. All right, let's get to the main event. Gayle Carson was selected as the 2007 Legend of the Speaking Profession. She hosted Entrepreneurs Women in Business radio show. She wrote for them and had articles in More magazine. Currently, she hosts over a dozen radio shows per month and is the founder of the SOB Radio Network. It cracks me up. She is also the only woman in the world, did you hear this? Only woman in the world who has a doctorate, a CSP, that's a Certified Speaking Professional from the National Speakers Association. She's a CMC, a Certified Management Consultant, and an FIMC, which is the Fellow to the Institute of Management Consultants. But she left out, she's also an SOB. Funky old broad. Gayle, are you ready to screw?
I am ready.
The commute. Oh boy, we go back, I don't know, 200-300 years, and it's been great knowing you all this time, but I haven't been catching up with you lately. So what have you been up to lately?
Well, most of the time what I'm doing are my radio shows, and like you say, screw the commute. So most of the stuff is online now, and I do a lot of training online, both for women who are 50 plus and also people who want to know how to get on radio and TV. So I have training programs for them. I have online programs for them. So I'm trying to screw the commute as much as I can. But, of course, I'm still back and forth between Florida and California, so that's hard to do.
Well, you have homes in both places, right?
I do, but I'm moving permanently to Palm Desert at the end of the year, and hopefully we'll be able to stay in California for a while.
I thought everybody was leaving California.
Well, not this one. This is going you know me, I'm always opposite from everybody
right?
else.
Well, aren't you going to catch on fire? I mean, from back east, all we hear is like the whole place is on fire.
Well, I'm really fortunate. My San Diego home is downtown, so that won't happen there. And Palm Desert is just not in a situation where it's going to be in the fire zone. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, that's scary when you hear all that those people losing their homes. So take us back to I don't really know. Did you ever have a job?
Well, not really, because of my first time I had to earn money was when I had broken 22 pair of glasses. I was like 13 years old, and I brought my father said, if you break one more pair, you are paying for them. So I went to the optometrist, went up, got my glasses, came down the stairs, got into my father's car. He was waiting for me by the curb and promptly sat on the glasses and broke them.
Oh, my God.
So he said, you know what you're going to have to do. And, of course, at 13, the only thing available was babysitting. And I just am never very good at that. So I said to him, can I get a job? And he said, well, if anybody will hire you. So I went through the newspapers. It was the 50s. People were home, and I decided I would make a perfect Avon lady. So I started selling Avon cosmetics door to door at the age of 13 and became the top salesperson in the area. So in reality, I guess I had a job, but I really didn't because it was my own time and effort, and everything I did from that point on, I created. In other words, I got a job in a radio station for the summer, but I created it. I worked in a summer camp teaching music and dance and drama, but I created it. So, and then at 17, I went off to school and created my own jobs, and I was in business at 21, a real business. So, no, in my mind, I've never had a job because I could never do what people told me to do if I thought it was stupid. So,
well, that makes sense to me. But here's what's cracking me up is like, who on earth would hire a babysitter that can't see enough to break 13 pairs of glasses?
Well, I have the glasses, but I'm just not really good with kids. Even though
No,
I'm
but
a great
how did you break 13 pairs of glasses? I don't think I've done that in my entire 60 some years of life.
Because I'm a very destructive person. I mean, I was always so active and so busy that, I sat on them, I misplaced them, they fell, it was just one of those things.
If I were you, I'd have bought the insurance policy on.
Exactly.
Maybe you'd have been better off.
That's when I went to contacts.
Hey, now, didn't you run some big businesses?
Well, my first business was I started out with a very small modeling school, and I developed it into a chain of career schools, which included, of course, the modeling and personal development, but also real estate, court reporting, travel, fashion, merchandising, that kind of thing. And then I had a SAG-AFTRA talent agency. We did the movies and TV commercials and print jobs that came into South Florida. And then I had a convention service company. So they were all together, and I did industrial shows and theme parties and spouse programs and tours for the conventions that came to South Florida.
Well, what's the most number of employees you ever had at once?
Well, I managed 350 people. Some of them were.
My God.
Yeah, I never want to do that again, Tom. You can imagine.
350. And what's the smallest? I guess other than being a solopreneur, what's the smallest company?
Well, smallest would be one or two. And again, one was like full-time and the others were on contract.
Wow. So if you had to, a lot of the people that listen to this, we call them our screwballs, by the way, that are either thinking about starting a business or want to improve their business. After all this business experience you have, what would you boil it down to a few tips for them to pay attention to?
Well, I think the first thing is whatever you expect to happen won't. And whatever you don't expect to happen will. Because I was in business, remember, I was 21 years old, and I was in business for 2 weeks when my chief competitor, who was very, very successful, stuck me with a cease and desist order. I did not know what it was.
Right.
I had to hire an attorney. I couldn't believe she was so scared of me surpassing her that she did this.
She heard about your Avon sales, and she was definitely scared.
Evidently, but I can tell you that, what you expect doesn't happen and vice versa.
Wow. And so how did that culminate?
Well, what we did was we put everybody on, I couldn't qualify for even getting the license that she was saying I needed because I didn't have the residency requirement, which was 3 years. So we put everybody on as employees, all my models, all my talent, and I had to do FICA, withholding, all of that. I had to have workman's comp. I wasn't thrilled about it. The talent wasn't thrilled about it, but we got through the 3 years, and then I went to the regular agency route of commission only.
Yeah, because that adds 30% or more to your expenses if you do it. Plus the accounting and lawyer and all that stuff. Wow. But you still made it.
But it was a lesson learned.
Yep, that's for sure. So anything funny or bizarre happen besides that? That's kind of rotten to have happen. Anything funny or bizarre happen over the years?
Well, I don't know how funny this is, but I went into an advertising agency right off of Madison Avenue, no appointment, and I went in and I sold them the Miss Model pageant. And believe it or not, my board of directors, because I was president of the Modeling Association of America, and they would not support my decision, even though they were going to each have a girl in the contest, and I had Barbara McNair and George Hamilton as my host and hostess.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the Wide World of Entertainment, and they wouldn't approve it because it was going to be my own personal glory trip.
Oh.
And I said, I'm going to be on there for maybe 30 seconds and no one's paying attention to me. But they would not approve it. So I said, fine, I have the contract. I'm signing the contract. I will put all my own talent in there, and then I really will be a celebrity. And then, of course, they okayed it. And my girl did not even come in anywhere. But, then we sold it to Eileen Ford, and that's where the Miss Model pageant originated.
Well, so there's a good lesson there for everybody. You have to play your angles, right? So you identified what would make them back off and get them to go along with you. Absolutely.
And I would never have done that. I really had no intention. I mean, I was really doing this for the goodness of the group, but there was paranoia there, and that's what happens when people are paranoid. I think, and I know you practice this too, Tom, and that is, if you go in things with the right spirit and the right mindset, the positive is going to happen. But there's always somebody who wants to put a monkey wrench in there, and they'll do whatever they can to mess things up that should be going well for you.
Well, you were an SYB, a spunky young broad at that time.
I guess so.
So what do you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst?
Well, the best is I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want. So that's the best. The worst is, of course, there are highs and there are lows. You don't get any of the things that I never even knew about, like benefits. I never knew people got benefits. And I didn't know about paid vacations. And I didn't know that when you went off to conferences and things like that the company paid for it, because I had always paid for everything myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the, it's probably the benefits mostly that I did not get, but I really don't care that I didn't get them.
All right. So what's life look like now? What are you actually doing now? I know you're doing all these radio shows. Is that it?
Well, I do the radio shows, and then I train people how to get on radio and how to get on TV, because unfortunately people don't know how to do the proposals and contact the producers and all of that kind of thing. And then the women over 50 who really believe that it's over, I try to show them, because I'm much more ancient than they are. So I try to show them it's not over till it's over. I mean, this is the best time of your life.
Well, 50 is the new 12, right?
Well, supposedly.
All right. So you have programs for both of these, or how do people work with you?
I do. Well, there's a couple of ways. Number one, I coach them. So if they want coaching, we do private or we do group.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to do it online, there's an online program for each of those. So there's a couple of different ways that they can go about doing it.
Well, how do they find out the details?
Well, for the media program, if they go to SOB 6, it's the letter
Sorry.
6, SOB 6, number 6, tips.com. There's a little thing on 6 secrets you should know.
Okay, but this is the number 6, right? Not SIX, right?
SOB 6, the number 6 tips.com. And if it's for the women and they want to know about, well, I'm a very positive thinker, it's SOBmindset.com.
Okay, SOBmindset.com. We'll have these in the show notes so people can just click on them too. So is there a structured program, or is it all individual coaching?
Well, if it's individual coaching, I kind of put it together as we go along, because everybody is different. But if it's a group program, then there are modules that we have, and it runs anywhere from 3 months to 9 months, depending on what program they take.
All right, but they don't have to wait till the end of 9 months to get on the radio, right?
No. In fact, if they do, as you always say, Tom, you have to do the work.
Exactly.
So if they do the work, they can get on in 30 days. But in reality, most of them will not. So it will be anywhere from 3 months on before they really see this taking form, because there's a whole process you have to go through. But people can get on sooner than that, especially if their topic is timely.
Right. And that's probably part of your training, is to tie it to something that's already in the news, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, we have to take a brief message from our sponsor, but when we come back, we're going to ask Gayle what a typical day looks like for her and how she stays motivated. Now, folks, I kind of turned the internet marketing training world on its head around the year 2000. People like me were charging $50,000 or $100,000 up front to teach what we knew to clueless business people who kind of refused to learn it on their own. Now, I'm a small business advocate, and I knew many small businesses could never afford that kind of upfront money. So I made all those gurus kind of mad by charging a relatively small entry fee to my program. And then I also got a percentage of product or profits that was capped, so you're not stuck with me forever. So for me to get my big money, you had to make way bigger money. And then you also know I'm not going to disappear on you because I won't get my money, right? So also we went one step further, and then I have a big estate home and a TV studio where my students, and Gayle's been here, she knows what it's like. For a year, part of the year-long training program, they actually stay in the house for an immersion weekend. And that's just one of the unique features of the joint venture and mentor program. You can check out the full details at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and we'll have that in the show notes. So let's get back to our spectacular guest, the spunky old broad, Gayle Carson. Gayle, what's a typical day look like for you? Like, pick two when you're in Florida and when you're in California. Are they the same, different? What do you get up? What do you do?
First thing I do when I get up is work out. So I'm a real gym rat. So I work out either at a gym if it's got the classes I want, or somewhere else if they're not. If I work out at home or if I work out in the building, depending on where I am.
What time you get up? Are you early bird or what?
Well, I'm up by 7. Sometimes I'm up at 6. It depends on, the day before, but somewhere between 6 to 7. And the first thing I do, as I say, is work out. When I come back, after showering and depending on time frame, lunch or whatever, I then check my email. And that's a horrible thing because I get so many of them. But anyway, I check my email, and then it depends. I may go to a meeting, I may coach, I may do a radio show, I may be interviewed by someone for a print thing, or I write. So it's a combination of things during the day. My day is probably calmer in California only because at this point my main office is in Florida, so I don't have all the distractions and all the things that I could be doing, whereas I'm limited to 1 or 2 or 3 things that I do. But basically my whole day is spent working, after I work out and so forth. And I take breaks. I have cats, so I play with my cats, who are constantly on my lap or behind my back or somewhere. In fact, my producer on my radio shows calls them my assistant producers because you always hear a meow in the background. And basically that's it. And then, of course, I'm very active. I serve on the ambassadors board for Nova Southeastern University, so I'm very active with them, and I have a lot of different meetings for that. I run a mastermind for the TCI, which is the Commonwealth Institute. I have 10 not-for-profits who are in my mastermind group. I have like Girl Scouts, I have Habitat for Humanity, and I facilitate a mastermind once a month for them. So I keep pretty busy.
You do 10 times more than most 20-year-olds I've interviewed. Jeez.
And I've got the energy.
Well, I'm just picturing you that you called yourself a gym rat. I'm just picturing you with all these muscle guys in Venice Beach and high-fiving them and pumping iron and everybody's applauding you and watching.
Well, I won't go that far, but I can tell you that I do keep active. Yes.
Good for you. Now, how do you stay motivated? I mean, I don't know how you have a chance to get demotivated as busy as you are, but how do you keep your motivation up?
Well, I don't know. It's very hard for me to get depressed, Tom. I might get depressed for like 30 seconds, and that's it. Then I'm back. Yeah, I'm back to, I don't know what it is. I just am not that kind of a person.
You've just always been an upbeat person, right?
Yeah, basically. And I will tell your listeners now, in fact, I don't even know if you know this, but I'm now going through my 4th case of breast cancer.
Oh, no,
and I'm
I
on chemo. Yeah, I'm on chemo. I'm on medication. And I still don't miss a day.
Unbelievable. Most people on chemo are like dead for days afterwards.
No, I very often get my chemo shot, and then I get on a plane if I'm going to California or somewhere else.
God, you're a machine. You're a
Guess I
SOM,
am.
a spunky old machine.
Exactly.
Man, you should get a sponsorship from ARP, is what I'm serious about that. Did you ever try that?
Well, they're very protective. I was a speaker at their very first foundation event, and it was very well received. But believe it or not, they would not let you talk to anybody. You couldn't collect anybody's business card. It was very closed, and so it has continued to be that.
Wow, I would think they would love people like you to be out there on the cover of the magazine.
And I'm a member.
Yeah.
I'm a dedicated member. So I don't know what it is, but that's the way they operate.
Well, I'm sure there's anti-aging companies out there. I'm serious I don't want to say as a funeral.
Well, Silver Sneakers. Silver Sneakers is a program for the that insurance pays for, and they've just named me an ambassador. So I am an ambassador for the Silver Sneakers program.
Yeah, I swear somebody would give you $100,000 just to go around, with their trade shows and things. It's amazing. Yeah. So you got more energy than when we were working together. Even gee, you're getting better. Like
well, I hope
wine.
so.
You're like wine, right?
And that's what I say. I say women 50 plus are like good wine. They get better with age.
Oh man, that's no question about it for sure. So, well, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Any final parting tips for those people out there wanting to be in business, setting their own schedule, doing their thing like you do?
Well, no, go to my website, which is spunkyoldbroad.com. Sign up for my newsletter. You'll keep in touch with me that way. You'll have missives from me. I don't bombard you. I do a newsletter once a week. And I think that you'll be happy with the information that I provide.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, I've known this lady for a long, long time, and everything she does is quality, that's for sure. So, all right. Well, thanks so much, Gayle, for checking in with us. And folks, the next episode is 76. It's going to be all about chatbots. These are the tools that automate sales and service for your customers and prospects. And my little chatbot guy is named Screwy, in honor of the Screw the Commute podcast. So don't miss that. And please leave us a review and a star rating at iTunes, and subscribe over there. And if you don't know how to do it, we have instructions at screwthecommute.com. So we'll see everybody on the next episode.